This morning, as homeowners look to try something new, maybe do, redesign, redecorate, oftentimes it can be, as you were saying, a little stale, colors left out sometimes. So for that, we brought in Ruxana, Interior Designer, to talk about how we can get color into these rooms. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Allie.
So you were saying, why does that happen sometimes?
Well, I think people head to the paint counter at the hardware store. They pick out a paint chip, they fall in love with the paint, they go home and they paint it, and they realize that the paint chip they picked at the hardware store actually has no relevance to anything in their home.
Or it looks much different on all walls.
Exactly. And I cringe a little bit when I see people pick the paint chip and then head straight to the counter and order 5 gallons of that paint, because you need to look at paint relative to the room, in the room where you're going to paint it. I had a project recently, we finished up a few months ago, and it's an open concept home. So the dining room was open to the living room, open to the kitchen, and after we finished our installation and placed the area rugs and fluffed it a little bit, my client came home and looked around and he said, "It all matches." And while it didn't all match, it definitely was integrated from one room to the next.
Flows.
Absolutely. And good design takes time. And as I told him, that wasn't an accident that it all matched.
So where should we start?
If you are a novice and you're not really comfortable with decorating, my recommendation is that you start off with something that inspires you. Okay. So it can be a piece of art, it can be a carpet. In the examples I brought here is actually fabric. So I tend to be conservative, and I typically do neutrals because my clients spend a lot of money on oriental rugs and on the furniture, so we want to make sure that the room lasts as long as possible and looks good as long as possible. So what I did using these fabrics, I pulled out just a very simple paint palette of a variety of colors that I thought would kind of show you how you can achieve a different look. And while these fabrics aren't matching, these paints aren't matching the fabrics, but they definitely relate to the fabrics. Okay. So for example, if you had a north-facing room, and Gary's telling us that winter is coming, so we want to warm up the room a little bit, but you could use this beautiful spiced cider, and that'll really warm up the room. On the opposite side, let's say you have a south-facing room and you want to cool it down because this is too warm, you could use this beautiful unusual gray that again relates to the blues that we have in there. I have a wonderful creamy yellow, another kind of really bright and dynamic yellow, and as you can see here, you could even use pops of teal to really add some drama. And
you were saying you have a cheat sheet almost.
I do. For people that are interested in downloading my top 10 paint colors, they can go to VermontInteriorDesigner.com and download my top 10 colors.
And it's enough color that's not overwhelming, but it still brightens the room up.
That's right.
Great. Ruxana, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Allie.